Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Something Super Spiritual. I'm your host, Jeffrey Peck, and I have with me the beautiful, delicious Debbie Romero.
Oh, you said delicious. Okay, I'll take that. What's up? Hey, Jeffrey. Thank you for
Oh,
having me
it is
here.
so good to see you again. I was just saying before we started is how much I just enjoy spending time with you and doing these fun things with everybody who's here with us.
Yeah, it's always an honor and a privilege to come together with like-minded souls, right? It's like the energy just gets like amped up. We're down to go and just flow. And spirit always comes in hot. So they're intelligent. They know what's about today, right? For
Totally.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, so you guys, we're going to talk a little bit of paranormal spirituality.
Ooh, okay.
Because I just got back. So I'm kind of on vacation this week. I have two besties here visiting for the week. And earlier today, we were on Angel Island here in the Bay Area on a little e-bike adventure. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I do it often.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if many of you are familiar with Angel Island, but it is very spiritually active. Back in the early days, 1800s, in the 1900s, World War I, World War II, they called this little island here the Ellis Island of the West. So they basically, it was an immigration center for, I guess, the Asian crowd, since that's where they're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
from China and Japan and Korea and, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Back in World War II, it turned more into an internment camp rather than processing immigrants to move through and live in our country. It turned into where they were forcing these people into these little rooms that should have held 4 people, 20 people to a room, starving them, beating them. Torture, basically.
Oh.
And this energy has kind of stuck on that island. And there's a lot of suicides and murders and disappearances and rapes and all that ugly, ugly stuff. So anyway, my point is, I was there again today. I experienced a lot of that oppressive feeling. When you go into a spot and you just feel the heaviness,
Right.
and you're like, ooh, I feel sad. I feel despair. I feel frustration and anger. I feel hopeless in a space where I expected all hope.
Mm.
And so it just made me wonder. I know Debbie here has some information and experience with your own paranormal investigations.
Right.
And I have such a skeptical mind with it,
Mm-hmm.
where I just continuously ask questions like,
Right.
how much of this is conscious and how much of this is residual recorded energy, emotional energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
What a great conversation to bring forward. First off, you know, if you're looking at a property, this is a perfect example of how everything holds memory, right? If we're going to psychometry, everything of living, everything of life is holding an impression. So everything that you do as an individual, as a living being, is creating some ripple effect of who you are, of your existence, that it matters. You look at it in the matters and the eons and the ions of who we are, the mass energies, we are all of that, if you believe, right? All the things that lead up to consciousness of life and living. They've all left an impression and a story behind. And for those that are super in tuned or sensitive, we're going to fill into those layers of history, not only history, but of what is left behind. And so if you're speaking in matters of heartache, of trauma, of those events, of course, those are going to be felt, especially as you are attuned, Jeffrey, you're a medium, you're definitely one that's going to fill into the essence of what was left behind based on the stories that are being opened to be shared, like
Sure.
it's layer after layer after layer. And when you were speaking of that, I can just see in my mind, immediately the way the people were held and how they felt with each other. And of course, you're tapping into the heartache, but I do see also prayer. I just see people coming together as support, hugging each other and holding each other. So there's also love that was also left behind, not just the heartache and the sorrow and the grief. But this is a simple reminder. Have you ever seen someone say, wow, I just walked into a room and it was deja vu, and I feel like I'm in a totally different place? It is because you're tapping into that timeline. For
100%. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. It was really the first time I went there. I didn't know anything about it. And, here I am on my e-bike having a great time tooling around the island. It's like 8 miles all the way around. So you're there for a good few hours, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, as you know, Debbie, we start to get these flashes. And I started to see these visions I saw all of these crowds big crowds of long black-haired people. And I didn't know, I couldn't see their faces, but I saw their long black hair. But I knew that it didn't feel Native American black hair. But I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. So I was sensing and getting these visions of these people with their long black hair, feeling the oppression, the loss of hope, the frustration, the fear, the starving. I was touching all of that. Afterwards, I Googled to figure out what the heck went on this island. And, come to find out it was the Asian people that were all put on this island. So that's why I was seeing that long black hair, right? But there's also, you're familiar with, well, of course you are, Zach Bagans and Ghost Adventures.
Right.
So they did a 2-hour special on this island just recently, within the last, I think, year. And it just makes me wonder, like, how much they always get people that are still there or stuck or still there and demonic or angry and, wanting to hurt everybody and scratch everybody. And I just wonder, and I get this question all the time from so many people in the viewers, on emails, direct messages, how much of that is Hollywood exacerbation and how much is really legitimate conscious spirit?
Great question, Jeffrey. You're a medium.
Yep.
You fell into the heavy, denser traumas.
Yep.
Could you imagine what that person experienced in their lifetime and during those times without care and without help? Could feel very much like chaos and disharmony, right?
Sure.
And if someone was imprisoned or they were unable to escape, what would that feel like? The need to not want to live or battle suicide that you speak of.
Sure.
So the circumstances that you're touching into is a pretty messed up one, right? So what does that feel like to you? Not pleasant.
Deeply
not harmony, trauma, right?
Deep.
So then if that chaos is fed by more chaos. So if you look at it, if another person comes in with another same story, and that same story just comes over and over again, where you said people were stuck, that amplifies that chaos, that amplifies that energy. And the only way that that changes is if it changes with the love of what other people are trying to do with the prayer, or just saying, I got you, you're going to be okay. So yeah, there is going to be some serious hardcore physical mediumship manifesting. There is going to be some serious energies that are going to be amplified. That's going to be very scary. So if you're looking at the energies and you're trying to connect in a way that is unknown or mysterious, spirit, the power of spirit, you're feeling first the personality, the experiences, but the soul is always love. We're born and made out of love. So there's different layers that we're speaking and touching into. Now, if you look at the scratching and you look at our body response to the temperature, to the changes, and we're in that mode of like a pause of meditation, and we're in that sense of connecting, we're elevating from plane to plane. Our body is reacting to the energy and the shifts of frequency. How many times have you started sweating, or you go cold really quick, or your body is expanding because you didn't hydrate? There's a lot of things that play factors into your own well-being and your own response in your own body. But I will tell you, I have done an investigation, and this is actually going back to the Ghost Adventures, where it was at the Glen Tavern, and I was in a room, and I didn't even know, that scratching was wrong. I didn't even know at that time. That's how naive I was to the energies, right? New baby walking in.
Yeah.
And so you go in, and I'm like, shit, something's here. Oh, excuse my
That's
language.
right. It was
I'm like, I was like, ooh, there's something here, and as I feel into that essence, I could feel the heat. And my neck started getting blotchy, and I started getting a mark. And I have a condadera that I go to, this healer, and she's like, oh, mija, you don't let them touch you. But see, I'm the opposite. I like the energy to come in. I want to know what's happening. I want the blend. I go into trance. I go into that space of holding it, right? So your body is going to react. I did have a scratch, and my body just flared up. It went red, but I know how to manage my care after. I know how to manage the energies after. Doesn't mean that I'm, you're still going to know. It's just like a reading. The reading comes in, boom, you're done.
Yep.
You disconnect. Same thing for me, because that's how I worked, and we've managed this work for a very long time. Now, if you don't know, that can be very scary for someone who doesn't understand. Oh my God, that thing just flew, or oh my God, that cabinet opened, or oh my God, did you hear that footstep?
Yeah.
That is very scary to someone. It's just like, I was telling a friend, I go, you're just kicking it there. You're playing on your phone, or you're reading a book, and all of a sudden you hear some noises. And it's just like if you had someone walk into your house living, and they scared you because you didn't expect them to come home. It's the same feeling. Your loved one's spirit's like, hey girl, what you doing over there? Like, what's up? Right? And so it's the same thing. You just didn't expect them. So then you freak out. I freaked out. I ran one time when I heard the footsteps coming behind me, and I'm like, Debbie, why did you run? Because I wasn't expecting it. I'm like, shit, I ran. So, our response is natural, because it's unpredictable. You're not prepared when those moments happen. It catches you off guard. So there's a little fear in that, because like, oh my God, where did that come from? What happened there?
Yeah. I wonder, a lot of people say that souls get stuck, or they get lost.
I can tell you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. And I was going to say, like, I don't know how I feel about that. I question it, because part of me, my question is, like, if people can get lost or stuck going from here back to spirit, if they're lost or stuck, my question is, where are our guides and guardians? Why aren't they coming to rescue us or get us? Or is this person in such a state of ego and anger and frustration and whatever, fear, that they make the literal conscious decision to stay here? You know what I mean? So what do you...
Let's look at that, right? Let's look at that in a different perspective, and everyone can kind of chime in and put their thoughts in. So we pass, everyone passes. We all ascend.
Yep.
How that feels. Do you believe in the different planes and different dimensions? And do you believe in the different frequencies and vibrations of where we go, right? And how we move through the energies. So there was a situation, and this is going back to trauma of what you're speaking of, right? Of a person still being here, or being stuck, or the residue of the story.
Sure.
Most of my energies that I have witnessed are from very traumatic events. So let's say one that's sticking to my mind, maybe many can resonate here. Let's talk about the soul work, soul retrieval, soul journey, soul healing that we do, even in the living. So there's no difference in how we're healing, living, ascending. We're all doing our work the best way we can for the self, right?
Yep.
So there's this young boy that I saw, and the energies for me, when they come through, they're at the feet of needing my help, reaching for me. And how I see that is this person suffered from drug abuse, or there was an addiction that was being felt into with the story. And the minute the story is shared, the main thing was, please let my mom know that I'm okay. And, my heart just fell into that, like, oh my God, I knew the area. I knew where I don't even know the mother, but I know the area. I knew where they were taking me to. I knew the parameters of where they were speaking in their story, and just holding space for the story allowed them to lighten up. Now, were they stuck, or were they just wanting to be heard, just like any other mediumship reading?
Thank you.
It's all based on a perception. It's all based on how we heal living our past. We're all working through the consciousness in the best way that we can, for self. And we all have our own shadows that we work through, our own fears and our own things that we hold close to ourselves. And so those are things that we deal with even in the living. Right? Even in the living, we go through that. So the soul gets to ascend, just like our goal is to go back home to God's spirit, Christ conscious energy. We're doing that in the living. We're learning, we're evolving, we're connecting, we're understanding, we're trying to understand. But until we get there, we're really not going to.
We're remembering.
Right? So if you look at oneself and you look at the trauma and you look at what are they battling, what did they go through that left them in such a traumatic state? Like you said, you started this story. There was sexual abuse. There was suicide. There was, lots of imprisonment. All of those things take a life away from one being. Little by little, a soul breaks and it shatters that hope to live. And so that's deep, friend.
Very deep.
And if you speak of poltergeist, or you're speaking of lost souls, or you're speaking of souls needing help, it's your perception. We're all going to feel a soul so close, and we're going to also feel them so far. But they're still around us, because I believe we're walking the oneness.
I believe that too. Yeah, I'm right there with you with regard to the oneness. I see the connection between each and every one of us. Between each and every one of us and the planet, and where we are within the planet, where we are within, the cultures, the subcultures, all of that. We're all so deeply connected.
Right. There's a comment here on my by Last Call Paranormal. Being a paranormal investigator, I've been pushed, scratched, and even bit. Yeah, right. But I don't think it's an attention getter. Being bit at Penhurst, I believe, was just to get my attention. I agree. Yeah, because it's the energy is trying in every way to catch our awareness. And how many signs do we miss? Being that we're intuitively connected, we're going to feel it. But the camera caught the soul behind me when I got scratched. So the energy of the essence was present, which makes the paranormal investigation with their equipment and what they do and what we do validates what we're seeing, feeling, in a scientific way to prove without a doubt that life is truly eternal with spirit. Yeah. And so for me to feel into that and to feel into the energy, you just can't come back from that. It's just like, it leaves you in awe. Like,
Agreed.
Oh man. Yeah.
Agreed. And you know what? I love that. I love that reframe. It's them just really desperate to get your attention.
Right.
Rather than a murderer in spirit trying to hurt you here. They're just trying to get your attention is all.
Right.
And how
often does that happen?
Yeah.
We're waiting in grief for our mom to say, Mom, I want you to give me a sign, or to your grandfather, your father, to say, do you see me? Right. And we're asking with recent events. Could you imagine? When you're investigating, there are layers. How many people live there in that property before the major events occurred? So you're going from one residence to another residence to another residence to another residence. That requires time on a medium to say who wants to share their story. You're touching the first layer of the energies to heal. Then you're going into the next layer. And so by the time you get to the story, it takes time and days of work that needs to be implemented to create the heart of what you're looking for. So it's time.
Yeah. Look at Jesse. Hi, Jesse.
Hey, Jess.
Jess says, I think part of us stay, but our spirits are multifaceted and has many layers. It's like shattered glass. That pain stays here and gets stuck, but other parts ascend.
Well, I think what we're so accustomed to find the wrong, and we're so accustomed to find what's wrong, what's bad. But do we ever look for the goodness in the channel? How is your perception of where you are within ourselves to see what are we able to see and feel into first?
Yeah.
And so it depends on our perception and how they're connecting with our stories, right? So it requires that patience, time,
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, it is. It's so much. And it's so exciting to me. Just spirit, everything spirit is so exciting to me. I could talk about it all day, every day. It's why we do this.
Right.
Um, um, but you know what? Here, hold on. Let's go back and say hi to some people.
Yeah, let's say what's up.
I know. Look, Jennifer Rose. Hey, Jennifer
Hey,
Rose.
girl. Hey, Jennifer, girl.
I actually have not met Jennifer yet.
Oh, we got to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say. Like,
We
Jennifer,
got to make
you
that
got to come on
happen.
the show. You got to get on here with me.
Right. And you got Ricky out here from the UK. Hey, Ricky. What's up, Ricky? And then you got Last Call Paranormal from LA. You got Michael on we have him on IG. So we got some people on IG. Anna, Lisa Snyder's on IG. So thank you all for listening and tuning in. Like we're watching you here. Put your comments in. I know Nancy, also Martala. Let me get that right. My girl Griselda, they're from the 805. What up, girl? That's what's up. Yeah. Let me give a hometown shout out.
You're the best.
I love it. And my girl Annie from Arizona. You see how we roll? We're rolling
Annie,
all over.
Griselda, Medium Nancy, Keith. Hey, Keith. Thank you so much for moderating. You're amazing.
Yes, Keith. Thank you, Keith.
And Sue. I saw Sue. Vicky. Hey, Vicky.
Oh, Nicole's awesome too. Oh, I love it. I love it. Hey. What's up, y'all?
There's Nicole. Hi, Nicole.
Oh, Cheyenne. Debbie, this is Martin. You read me at the Paracon, and I'm so sorry, friend. I remember, and I saw, I do remember you from the Paracon at the Ventura County Paracon. I did not mean to make you cry. I promise. I just, Spirit is very intelligent. They know what's up. They know what we need. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh. You know what? And that is really, it's one of the things I say most when people ask what this is like. It's that intelligence to spirit that we literally cannot wrap our human mortal brain around. The intelligence that we, in doing these readings, where spirit knows what needs to be addressed before what we think we need to be addressed.
Right.
And it comes through, and afterwards, your person is just like, wow, like I never, so many times I've heard, well, I really never thought I cared to hear from that grandmother. But now that I have, I totally understand why she needed to come first before my dad, who I really wanted to hear from, and then here comes the dad, but yeah, there's just so much of that intelligence that yeah, it's just so beautiful.
I think that's where we have to have the open mind again, where we're holding on to certain things that we look for. And so it's important, if you're going to go into an investigation, create a list. What are you looking for? What do you want to know from the spirit? Create a rhythm that is going to allow you to develop a friendship and a relationship with the souls that are sitting there. I did an investigation, and I was watching this the gentleman that runs it, Stefan from the Paracon, and you're dealing with mobsters. He's taking. I took a cigar to leave. My booth was literally by Chester, and he was out there, and he hangs out there, and my machine's going crazy. Everything's going crazy, and so, for me, spirit's like bring the dude a cigar. Hook him up, like by the bar, buy him a drink. What do the mobsters love? They love to talk. You give them that scenery of them remembering them, right? Giving them that like, hey, I see you. I'm celebrating with you. It's cool. Can I sit here? Like, this is your home. I feel it,
Yeah.
Build a rapport. Give yourself an opportunity to understand the essence of why you're going in, and yourself an opportunity to be respectful for the energies that are about to share the vulnerability of who they went, of what they
thank you for saying that too, because it makes me crazy to watch these people who are so antagonizing and bullying and trying to get spirit all riled up and angry or whatever, how they go in, just rude. I mean, we're still people on the other side. Don't need to be rude.
I think you have to understand that from the mind frame also too of, there's some scary stuff, Jeffrey, and there's sometimes if you're how you're going in with it, it requires special training. It requires people to hold hold respect for the energies. But when you don't understand it, educate yourself. What does this mean? And what is physical mediumship, and why is it presenting or manifesting in this way?
Totally.
in such a physical way, physical form? And that's the proper, way we look into it. Was it poltergeist? Is it physical mediumship. And this is where the education comes in, because you're afraid of what you don't understand.
Truth.
Trust me, I was like, oh my God, that just happened. Oh my God, like, trust me. Like, I had some aha moments of like, that was some intense stuff. So, so that just gives you a side of the story of why you're hearing the antagonizing, because they probably witnessed something that was so spooky, unexplainable, and it's making them feel a little uncomfortable. So this is making, think about it, right? We go into readings. How many times has the energy hit you and then you become them because you go into a light trance and you're mimicking their characteristics and their behaviors? You're going into jails. You're going into places where you're dealing with people who have been murderers, or you're dealing with people who have hurt people, so you're channeling their essence. And some of it, man, you're told off. You're straight out. So you're talking about, you're talking about, why are they so aggressive? They probably experienced firsthand these aggressive behaviors.
It's a very good point. Well, then there's no probably around it. I mean, if they were in that prison or in, then they most likely did experience that kind of trauma.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, and, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. That really makes sense.
Yeah, because it's, you gotta, be coming in as a spiritualist and coming in and that love and that light. Let me tell you, I was put in my place real quick. I was held by the hand of God in spirit, but I was still also shown the intelligence of spirit and how the energies were working and how it's held in form in a property. It's put in my place. It's different. I see your wheels chiming in.
Oh,
ooh,
totally.
What does she mean? What happened? Hey, Patrick from the UK, what's up? I felt you. I think I would only be afraid if it attached itself to me or it didn't go away. So this is important conversation if we talk about attachments, right? So if you look at the attachments of the energies, is it a close blend? Is it a trance? Is it such a close blend that you're feeling the essence so close to you? Or do you feel them so close to you and you feel that they're stuck with you because you've asked for them to be with you all the time? So now you're always feeling them? I have seen attachments on people. I have seen the energies hold on to people. Just allow the energy and the residue, sit in some sea salt, get the energies to move, because the energies do stay because you've given it attention, you've given it light, you've given the residue to, you're picking up on the residue of what they've experienced. So yeah, it happens. So I get you, Mally. And that's in anything. That's in all, living or past. We're going to carry energies, heavier, denser energies, if we're not doing our part of self-care and healing.
I understand that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's why we get in a salt bath and aromatherapy and crystals and sage and Palo Santo and
if you ain't got the money, you go to the beach and you go into the ocean. My mom straight out said, go to the ocean, take it to the ocean, girl. I was
take it to the ocean.
I was like, dang, like that, mom.
It's so true. It is so true. You know what? I want to hit a question here that came back. Let's see. Give me just a second, you guys. Sorry, I was so wrapped up in this conversation and I didn't star it, but somebody mentioned something about reincarnation.
What are your thoughts on that, Jeffrey? I love white. Is it Wiki?
I do. Yeah, that's Vicky.
Wiki.
Yes. Well, I absolutely do believe that we reincarnate. I believe that we live and we live and we live and we experience and we have multiverse. We have there's an infinity. We as human beings with an ego identify separately and individually, and we identify limited. But as a spiritual being, we are limitless, right? So there's so much out there. And I think that people, when they think about reincarnation, first of all, the quantum physicists have been talking about how they're recognizing that this linear time that we as human beings recognize is not what it's ultimately like. It's all happening in the now, right? It's all happening in the now. So when we think about reincarnation, we think about our loved ones that have passed. Have they reincarnated already? Well, maybe they're waiting for us. Maybe they have. But here's the thing. with our souls being the omniscient and omnipresent and unlimited being that we are, our whole soul isn't in this body. We're just a fraction of our soul.
Right.
We're still home. I mean, most of us are still home. So here's how I look at it. The little story that I see in my human mind's eye is, if we look at the soul as the hard drive of our computer, it houses everything. This life is one little file that goes in that hard drive. And every other lifetime is a little file in our soul. It's all us. We're all experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if our loved one has reincarnated, we're still going to meet back with them as that individual aspect of their soul that we knew.
Right.
However, they're off, doing their next thing, and we're going to do a next thing with them next time.
Right.
I mean, it's so much bigger than we can really put words, encapsulate the vastness of the soul. You know what I mean?
I do. I've seen people where the past life just flashes in front of me, and you just hold on to that, like, whoa, okay, that just happened, or whoa, that just happened. Oh, and by the way, that happened. And so, as psychics, we're tapping into your past, your present, your future. It doesn't tell you how far back we're going, but that was part of one of my healings, was past lives and tapping, and how to go back and to bring balance into some of the even scarier stuff that we go through into our past lives, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, we do have the vision for it. We do hold space for it.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Patrick was like, absolutely. Patrick from Ireland is like, definitely infinity, definitely limitless, says Jennifer. And you still have a choice. I was told this was my last time here.
Yes.
So that's Patrick from Ireland saying that.
Yes, Patrick. I just saw that too. Yes, we absolutely have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Some people teach that it's a revolving door, like that as soon as we cross over, we're like, boop, right back. We're like, oh man, I was needing a break. No, I believe we absolutely have a choice. I don't think it's an automatic thing.
Okay, I like that. Wow, Christine,
what do you think?
I love her. I agree. I think it can be very difficult for someone who focuses a lot on that and does the work for it. It really can take you out of, and this is from my own experience. And so when you start tapping on past lives, before I went into that, I was like, why are we going into the past? Let's live now. What is that? I'm not bothered by that. Oh, yeah, whatever. And then, you really have to do the work, and you go into past lives and you're like, why do you open that door? Like, why did I start touching that? And so it can really get deep. I remember going into some healings, and they bring out the book, and my book was like, just kept going forever. It was like, shh. She's like, never seen somebody's feet change so quickly and all these different life experiences. I'm like, well, good luck, pick one. So she's like, shh. I'm like, that's my brain, and that's my feet. They won't stay still, but really, there is some, if you go to, I had a friend that would help me, that would hold space, and that would send me stuff. And at that point, I didn't really dive into it this time around as much as I did earlier on. So I'm grateful for it. Yes, it's the Akashic Records, hold the past, the present, the future. But really, we're going to be given the downloads and the codes that we need, even living in the now. So as we continue and we're experiencing and we're living, it's like that initiation. It's like that rite of passage. We're going to receive those energies. Even if we don't touch it, you're going to get through it. And Spirit's going to put us in that alignment for that work to be done, even if you don't choose to go back. So we're in it regardless. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So those are my thoughts.
I get that. Yep. That makes sense. You know what Christine said? Hold on. Christine, where are you? There you are. Christine says, my 3-year-old son was helping me in the kitchen and said, Mommy, remember when I was the grown-up and you were the kid and I was teaching you? I love these stories so much.
Snap, for sure. Christine, girl, more power to you.
Thank you.
Because, so that's on point right there.
It is. And it's these messages that just are getting out there a little bit more and a little bit more, these stories, these experiences. There was a show a while ago, I don't remember which platform, but it was about the kids who were coming back with these full memories of who they were before, where like they literally knew where they lived. They knew their siblings and parents. Oh my God, it's just.
But Jeffrey, could you imagine their life, like, we're awakening and we're processing our sensitivity, and to have a lifetime that's you're living over again. And I do that that's why I say you can get stuck into the past life healing part of the work. There's that part of period where you're integrating the energies, which can be a lot and overwhelming. How you're managing that healing aspect of integration, and then to be in the present, there's a lot of work that comes with the individual to be able to go to progression, to be able to understand, and to be able to still be human and present while you're still able to tap into all of that energy. So
Yeah.
that's, God bless the souls that do that, because even us as we awaken, we go through those stages of of that.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Christine said, Christine, there you are. Christine says, it was so reinforcing for me and my developing beliefs about reincarnation and soul families. Yeah. I can imagine. Like, I haven't had that experience with a loved one here, or a child, or sibling, anything. But I can imagine.
Yeah.
Talk about validation.
Right. And not only that, Christine, like, how your patience as a mother to hear that, or it's just like listening to one's journey and sharing how they see and feel and connect to the energies of spirit without judgment, with love and compassion. You're the mother of this child who's saying, I remember I was the mother, or I was this person. Like, and my hat goes off to you in this journey, because there's a lot of respect from spirit world right now, because and I don't mean to tap in, but you have spirit coming in to just a respect and honor that feels very fatherly figure that's coming in for you, Christine, right now. And so that essence is just like, I got you, girl. Like, this is awesome. Like, they got your back.
Yeah, 100%. On my Instagram, hi guys on Instagram. I can't wait for this StreamYard to integrate Instagram in a way where everything comes together. Valerie Handler says, I heard of kids who recognize their family members from the past and speak languages that the rest of the family knows. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend that I talk to, and her son, her grandson can see spirit, and I'm over here validating. She knows because she's a medium, and she's validating. And the essence of the energies to be able to validate, it's just so beautiful. There's so much beauty in that. I felt that too, Debbie. Thank you for tapping in for that. You're welcome, Christine. You just need to know that they got your back, like definitely.
Completely.
So, Matt, this is a beautiful conversation, because I feel like it's going to bring some inspiration, some awareness, and it's so needed, because these are such unusual topics that is unexplained, and why we're feeling a certain type of way that can also go down to make one's mental. Let's just talk about our well-being, and how it affects the well-being, and how it affects us as individuals when we're constantly living in this energetic way of reincarnating, progression, and present, like past, present, future. We're like just blending it all in such a beautiful package. Last call paranormal says, I do believe in reincarnation. One of my granddaughters, I believe, is my mother reincarnated, and these looks there are these looks she gives me, and my mom would. She gives me the stare that just like my mom. I love that. And so that's grandmother. And I remember last call paranormal, when your mother's name is Rose. And I feel like with your mother, she just giggles. So she thinks it's funny. And, when I feel into that, I just feel the garden. I feel the essence. I feel her outside watering her plants, and, the old school neighborhood, the cars, the men outside fixing the cars. So yeah, your mother is her essence runs deep in your blood. Like, you ain't going to forget her. She won't be there for sure. And your granddaughter has her smile. So there's something about her smile too. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I love that.
Cheyenne says, my 5-year-old had night terrors every night at 2 years old, and would always talk about a shark ate and died him, meaning it killed him. And he was also born with a faint Mongolian birthmark on his back. What's a Mongolian birthmark?
I don't know. So,
wow.
But so let's say this. So if the sun, so basically I'm saying the birthmark is just Cheyenne is saying this is where the shark would have bit the sun in a past life. The sun is talking about being bit by a shark, never happened, but experiences, has the memory of it.
Yes.
So that's also tapping into those energies. And so if we go back to fisherman days and we go back to granddad, dad, I feel like you have fishermen or family that fished in your family. I don't know why I get this granddad, dad side of the family, the water, the ocean, the sea. So there's definitely a connection there, Cheyenne, is what I'm feeling too. So I would definitely go and explore that more. I feel like an ancestral report would do really, really good. It's very interesting because I feel like you had family that lived by the water. So I'm tapping into this, obviously, this past life of energy. So yeah.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Julianne.
Hey, girl.
Julianne says, I was led to dive into my past lives because there were many that were connected to what happened to me as a child in this lifetime. Ooh.
Yeah, that's where why I started my journey, Julie. So if we go into healing, right? If some of us in our lives, you know, we all have different life experiences, right? And so for me, I wanted to understand my mediumship. I wanted to delve deeper into it. I wanted to understand. And so I went into a meditation first, obviously, and then I went into trance mediumship and didn't realize like, ooh, you mean we got guides and ooh, spirit can come in and oh my gosh, we're going to get healing. Like, yeah, right. And then obviously we're going to have experiences where we have fears or things that that are unexplained, why we're feeling a certain type of way. And, you know, nobody wants to live like that. Nobody wants to live in fear. Everybody's trying to find a way to create and to bring balance, to bring harmony. And of course, that was what I started in my early journeys, was for healing. So I understand that one wholeheartedly, Julie.
Yeah, totally. Like 24 years ago, I met a hypnotherapist and I was in hypnotherapy for about 12 years.
Yeah.
And she studied under Dr. Brian Weiss.
Yes, and I was going to bring him up because that was the meditations I used to listen to. And every now and then I'll go into the meditations. And this is the beauty, guys. Brian Weiss is exactly what Jeffrey brought forward. You can do this on your own. The problem is that if you get triggered, it's important to have a team. It's important to have somebody that's going to be there to listen to you, to what is unfolding, right? Because sometimes triggers can happen and you'll be like, oh my God, I saw this. And oh my God, there's no difference in an awakening. What does this mean? Why did this come up? And you're trying to make sense of it. But now what you're trying to do is make sense of your trauma, or you're trying to make sense of your past life or whatever comes forward. So it's important to have a support team. It's important to have someone you can talk to.
100%.
Either a professional therapist, a hypnotherapist,
totally.
a friend who is so not judging and will not like
a Reiki teacher. I mean, like all of the above. Everybody on speed dial.
Right. I'm serious. And, you know, you can get them online. So let's say financially you're in a budget. There are therapists online that'll take your call. There are people that will, you know, find me a medium that are life coaches. You know, sometimes you look at mediums and you're like, oh, I need your help. But sometimes you might need a life coach. Someone is going to be like, I got you today, tomorrow, and the next day. Because a medium's job is just to show you life is truly eternal.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's huge when those things happen. You know, the first couple of experiences that I had were jarring, to say the least. And it took a while for me to process through all of what I saw in my mind's eye through this hypnosis and to recognize and tie it into who I am and why I'm here today, what I'm working through today. You know what I mean? It was like, what do I do with this information? Now that I have this information, what does it mean to me? Well, through that further therapy, counseling, talking through it, what I saw, and being able to tie all of what that happened in those lives to what's happening in this life, all tied to like my main themes. Self-worth. Am I enough? I mean, I think a lot of us are on that bus together.
The confidence.
Really, trust, confidence. It's
all coming back to love.
It is all coming back to life, and we do this
and love.
Totally recognizing all of that within those lives we saw in our mind's eye through hypnotherapy. Recognizing it in life today. That it's all happening in the now,
Right.
And this is why we're here to expand and grow. When we recognize this information and we heal, it is exponential growth for our soul, especially when we're tying it to other past lives. We're
Right.
we're like hitting layers of karmic energy
Right.
through the karmic DNA in the family, in the generations, and healing family generate. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's just
Let's I want to ask you go over this question that Julie said right here, because I feel a lot of people like there's two comments that I want to kind of piggyback on here.
tell me
Lori,
who I'm looking for.
first is Lori Albert. She was like, I wish the masses understood all of this, right? So let's talk about that, because Spirit has just nudged me for a second here. Julie Ann said at one of the comments that sometimes we don't remember our trauma. Okay, so this is how Spirit works. Okay, y'all. And I feel like I need to share this part of this, because we're asleep, we get healing. When we go into any form of intent to go into healing, our soul is giving permission for the energy to come in the way that we need it. So even if we don't remember, how many of us say, and you all can put some red fire flames or yes, hello in the comments. How many of you have had dreams and you don't remember? How many of you gone through a meditation and you forgot? How many of you experienced the past life and you don't understand it? You're still getting the energy and frequency from those planes in the way your soul needs it, even if you don't remember it. If you fall asleep in the meditation, you're still getting the healing. You're still getting the downloads, because our body may need deeper work. There's, if you believe in psychic surgeons and you believe in the doctors and that numbness or that feeling, all of that is integrating in the way your soul is needing it. So it's okay if you don't remember. Don't freak out. It's okay that you don't understand it. If you want to understand it more, then take the class. And you want to go into depths of it, find a past life, regression teacher, stuff like that. But yes, putting the intention, getting I had a shamanic teacher, one of my friends, and his name was Daniel Phoenix, beautiful soul. Oh my God. And I absolutely adore him. And when we would go into our dream state, it's like, give not only the intention to work with you. This year, after my mom passed, I was going through something very personal, and I wanted to release in my sleep. I wanted to release while I was sleeping. I wanted it to come in my dream state. I totally went deep and said, okay, Spirit, let's go. Like, I would drink my tea time stuff. I would be like, let's go, let's do this. And I let my energy sweat it out. And I didn't care if I didn't remember. I just knew the intent was there. And so let's say if my friend Daniel says, you have to notify Spirit. You got to notify Spirit. I'm going into sleep. I want to remember. Notify. Count your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my cue to let you know that you have my permission to come in. Or hold your heart. You have my permission to come in. Give them a sign to say
Totally.
come in. And then you're going to ask, when you're waking up, keep a journal next to you so that you can write the data. What did it feel like? How many of us get those paralysis feelings? How many of us experience pins and needles, unexplained pins and needles? How many of us feel like, oh my God, I can't get up? How many times are we fighting in our dream state? What timeline were you fighting? There is so much energy that happens. And so I'm going to leave it there because I won't shut up. So I'm going to stop.
No, it's all great information. I mean, it's beautiful information. And I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because yes, I mean, more nights than not, before I'm going to sleep, I am asking for my guides and guardians, let's go, take me somewhere. Let's do some healing. Let's do some healing on some layers and some levels that I need to work through and do the work that I'm here for in this now lifetime that I am present.
That is what I'm saying right there. Like, that's the challenge though, Jeffrey, because we start now tapping into past lives. We're starting to mess with new energies that we're trying to make sense of. And we're still trying to go to work and live our job as mothers and fathers and aunties and uncles and mothers. And, so here you got this over here messing with you. You got this over here. And you're like, all right, it's all rainbows and butterflies. But in a past life, my head just got chopped off. Or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But, because, it happens. Like, it's just.
It's true.
I'm like, did I just see that? Did that just happen to me? Like, what was I doing? What error was that? Like, oh my gosh, right?
Oh,
so,
I saw many of those. And I think it's funny that we can say that, and like, laugh about it. Like, let's have a little bit of
Right.
levity.
Right. Well, because we can look at it and we know, okay, well, that happened. I'll just send me some love and light that day. I must have upset somebody.
Exactly.
I'll be like, my
Well,
bad. I take full responsibility for all my actions.
sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Oh my God. Well, okay, so the goal is to change the energy, right? So it's like I
Yeah.
take full, so I was like, this is my other mentor was like, you take full responsibility, you don't blame anybody or anything. So I'm like, I take responsibility for that. I take full responsibility, even though I don't understand. I'm responsible for my part. Oh Lord.
That's it. Accountability and responsibility.
Right.
That's I think one of the biggest pieces in waking up to spirit, waking up and expanding our consciousness. That we are accountable and responsible for
We are.
our actions, for our
It's
responses, our
It's so
reactions.
important to take life responsibility, to take your role in the energy of responsibility if you're part of what you played in. Even if you don't understand it, just say, you know what, yo, that was my fault. My bad. I did it. I did it. Oh, okay. Well,
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
going to send it some green and some orange and some blue and some
Come
purple
on.
and keep it going. And a lesson learned. I won't do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 months later, I might do it again, but not at that moment.
Right. I'll send you an orchid. I'm sorry.
I'm not a good flower keeper. You got to send me some succulents.
Oh, this is awesome.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Jill, I love it. I love it.
You guys, thank you so much for being here. I mean,
Yeah,
we've already talked for almost an hour, and
I know.
I mean, it seems like we've been chatting for 5 minutes, and it's just like I just love to have these conversations because they're just so real and there's so much to talk about, and there's
Right,
so many questions that so many have,
right,
and we all have these different experiences. Everybody here with us that is
right,
watching this now and is watching in the future,
right,
they're on their path. They're waking up. They're woken
right.
up to who they are. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here.
Right. And they say fun topic, but Julie, this is some serious stuff though. Like we're
Mhm.
making it fun because we've obviously come out of it, right? We've
Mhm.
obviously, but when you're in it, it's not fun, babe. It's not
Mhm.
fun. That's why I'm saying you gotta have a team because
Mhm.
if you're choosing to start going into past lives and you're starting to delve into the deeper traumas and the deeper scenarios of why I feel this way today, and you start
Mhm.
tapping into that, you can really go down deep in a rabbit hole in that, and you got to bring balance. So it's important to stay grounded. I'm a little silly because that's my character. That's my personality. But when I was in it, I tell you, I was crying like a little girl. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? I don't understand this. And I had to call people, and I'd be like, what does this mean? What does this mean for you? It's just a way of our body trying to make sense of it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Last Call Paranormal says these conversations give someone like me a place to feel comfortable with learning my psychic abilities, and also no one thinks I'm crazy chasing spirit. Amen to that.
100%.
Amen. Like I
Oh,
100.
that is a
You
big
know,
man.
a song comes to me. That's just how we roll.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Love
And you know
and
what? I want to
respect.
put this up here because Chris MV had a reading with you a few weeks ago, and you are freaking amazing.
Oh, thank you, love. I appreciate
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Spirit is amazing. I
Mhm.
one day said, I can't believe I did that. Oh my
Mhm.
God. And
Oh,
Spirit said, well, you did it. We did. So
yeah.
Spirit of the intelligence of love knows what we need. And so that's the beauty of the intelligence.
Awesome. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just amazing. So, you guys, I'm going to cut this a little bit short. My friends are here on vacation. I got to get out and meet them. Debbie, thank you
Yes.
so much for being here. I'm going to put you on the calendar again. You're on the
Yeah.
you're on the you're in the revolving lineup.
I love it. My friend Annie, she knows we got to put the bobblehead down. We got to let the ego simmer. We call our ego the bobblehead. We
Yeah. Oh,
put the bobblehead down, girl. So
I love that. Yeah, I love
yeah,
that.
because it can float and take us off into the space. So thank you so much, Jeffrey. It's a huge honor and a
Mhm.
privilege to be a guest on your show. I hope you've all learned, and don't forget to follow me, Jeffrey. Subscribe. He's always constantly doing amazing things for spirit, and so again, thank you, friend, for having me here as
Thank
your guest.
you. And thank you, Debbie, and everybody follow Debbie. And next Wednesday, we have another one of our favorites. Courtney Dawson is coming back.
Woo,
So
I love Courtney.
I know she's always super fun. So
Canada, right?
Canada.
She's from Canada's in the house, y'all. You don't want to miss that.
Got a lot of Canadians. Yeah. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for being here.
Someone on my IG is asking if you teach hypnosis courses out of California. I recognize your voice.
I don't.
He doesn't. Love.
I don't. Thank you, though, for asking.
Yeah. So sorry, love. Yeah. They love your voice.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that is amazing. So thank you all. Take care. God bless.
All right, you guys. Bye-bye.